everyone, it's Paige Ashtree and welcome back to another video. First, disclaimer, if you hear me saying things like sit down buddy or something like that, my dog is sitting next to me, and well, that's the thing, he's lying next to me now, but he might get up and move, and I don't want him to get up and move because we have someone coming to my lawn in the backyard, and he'll most likely go crazy because he can't be in the backyard when the person's mowing the lawn. So yeah, you know what I mean. Don't mind if I'm saying things like, it's okay buddy. His name's not Buddy, his name's Harry, we just call him Buddy. But yeah, okay, anyway. Let's get on with the video. So basically, I just realized I probably actually better film a video this week because I don't think I'm going to get my realistic roleplay done in time for my weekly upload. I am filming a realistic roleplay. I've edited a little bit of it and I filmed like half of it, but I still don't think I'm going to get it out in time. But the point is, I have started it. I'm not neglecting you guys. Anyway. So today I'm going to be doing another story time because I feel like I've got so many stories to tell and I feel like I do too many story times, but it's okay. If you guys are sick of the story times, let me know in the comments and I will stop. But this is the only one I'm doing that I can think of. Like, it's not like it's going to be a story time every single week, but like next week's probably going to be realistic roleplay. But okay, so hi guys, this is the second time I'm telling this story because I realized I left out a really crucial detail. So you're probably going to have a cut from me riding into Hollow Woods to now. So basically this is the story of the time that my bike just got really faulty and just did a bunch of really strange things. And I realized I left out one of the strange things and now I feel bad and I'm refilming the entire thing because I missed out one of the things and I didn't want to miss it out. Anyway, the point is, basically I had a bike when I was like, I think probably, Harry, okay, great. Sorry, he just got off the couch next to me. I'm sitting at a desk, but I've got a couch next to me. Anyway, so I was like 7 or 8 at the time. And basically I had a bike and I really liked bike riding. Like, it wasn't like I had a friend who raced competitively with her bike, was a competitive bike racer, but I didn't do that. I was just riding for fun because bike riding was fun and I my mum would go on walks and I would go on bike rides and it was just, we just did it for fun. Anyway, the point is, often, when I had free time, a hobby that I used to like to do was I would just ride my bike around our front yard because at the time I think I was just a bit too young to go on bike rides by myself, around the neighborhood. If I fell off or something, then no one would be there to help me. So basically I would just ride around our front yard, and keep in mind my front and backyard, they're pretty big, a pretty substantial size. So wasn't like I was stretching hard to be able to ride a bike in there or anything. Where should I go to? Yeah, Winfield. Okay, so basically I would just ride around my bike in the front garden, and it was really fun because I remember I would used to go over little twigs, not little twigs, but a little bit bigger than little twigs, and the bike would jump a little bit over them, and I'd be like, oh, I'm doing a cross-country horse jump, because at the time I didn't ride very often, once a week or once every 2 weeks, so I would trying to immerse myself in as much horse as I could, and that was something really silly but really fun I did, because obviously now I know that is not what a cross-country jump feels like at all, but yeah, it's fun. I know that now, but at the time, it was so fun though. Anyway, the point is, I would go into our front yard, whenever I had free time, pretty much once a day I'd do it. And I would just ride around, and I'd ride over all these twigs and things, and I'd pretend I was going over cross-country jumps. And it was honestly so fun, and I don't know, that's just the joy that a 7 or 8 year old can get. Anyway, basically I would do that a lot of the time, but one day I was doing it, and suddenly I was just riding it around, and it just suddenly started letting out this really weird noise. Like, okay, being an educated person of music now, that I know like what different instruments sound like, and I have played a few different instruments and things like that, it sounded like a really, really out of tune and also bad trumpet player. Like, a person who's bad at trumpet playing an out of tune trumpet. Like, if you guys have ever heard trumpet play like substantially, basically like that little the squawk thing they do when they're trying to play a note but they haven't quite got the note because it's too high or something, you know, something like that. That's what it sounded like, honestly, and it was an awful sound. And suddenly, so I was just riding around my front yard or whatever, and suddenly I hear this sound, like, it sounds like the trumpet thing I just described. And I don't know if I can make the voice with my mouth, but I'll try. It was like, no, I can't do it. I won't be able to do it, but it's hard to explain, but it was a really awful noise, and it was quite loud too, so it was noticeable. Like, I was just like, like, this is strange, like, why is it making this awful noise? And so I went to my mum, and she watches me ride, and she's like, oh, like, that's a strange noise. We actually had a bike shop very near us, and it was like a family-owned business, and they sold bikes, and it was a 10-minute walk from our house. Like, it wasn't far at all. So my mum's like, you know what, let's just like walk this bike up to the bike shop, and, you know, we'll just get them to take a look at it and, like, you know, see if like they can figure out what's wrong with it. So we took it up to the bike shop, and we go in and explain our problem, and the person's like, oh, okay, let me have a look at it. And he's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. There's a puncture in the bike, and that's like the sound of it letting out air, and like when you do a certain thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And he's like, okay, like, yeah, I can you know, I can patch it up for you, like, I can you know, fix the puncture for you, and then you can like be on your way. So we're like, oh yeah, good, like, go for a fixed puncture. And then so he fixes the puncture, and we're like, oh, thanks. And then we pay for the fixing, and then we go home. And then, because I've got a newly fixed tire, I'm like, oh, okay, you know what, like, I'm just gonna keep riding my bike in the front yard, because, you know, I just want to do that, and it's fun, and I really like pretending I'm going over cross-country jumps. So I'm riding my bike in the front yard, and basically, like, I'm just riding around, and suddenly the sound happens again. It just goes, like, the honking kind of awful sound, and I'm just like, what? Like, why? Like, I thought we just fixed this. So I told my mum, she's like, okay, you know what, we'll just walk back up to the bike shop. Maybe they let's like use some bad quality material or something. Like, you know, like, it's fine. We can just like go to them and they can fix it again or whatever. So we go to the bike shop. And then we tell them about the issue, and they're like, oh, that's strange, like, and we trusted them, so they're like, no, like, we used proper material and everything, like, you know what, like, it's fine, like, we'll just fix it again for you, like, there's no issue in that. So they fixed it again for us, and then, I kid you not, we're walking back to our house from the bike shop, and we're walking in our front gate, and the squawking starts again. I kid you not, I swear, the moment we walk in through our front gate, it starts. And we're like, oh, great, okay. So what's happening here? Because it was just such an awful sound as well. So we're like, okay, like, this is really bad. And so we're walking it back to the bike shop, and we're wheeling it along, like, not riding it, and it's doing its squeak, there's not squeak, squawk, honk, honk thing, and we're just like, oh, this is embarrassing. And so we go back to the bike shop, and they're like, oh, wait, sorry, you're back again? And we're like, yeah, it just started honking again, so, yeah, like, you know, can you just, like, fix it again for us? And he's like, oh, yeah, of course. Like, listen, if it punctures again, like, come back and we'll fix it for you free of charge, because something's obviously wrong. Like, just, like, we'll fix it for you. And then, so as he's fixing it, he's trying to, like, figure out, like, what we've been doing to the poor bike, because, like, I don't think he's ever probably had someone come in, like, 3 times in an hour with the same problem. So he's like, oh, like, what have you been doing to the bike? And my mom's just like, oh no, like, she's just been riding around our front garden. Like, it's like, no, like, it's like she hasn't been doing anything with it. And he's like, oh, okay, like, okay, that's strange. So we get the bike fixed, and then basically we go home with it, and then it happens again. It just, I don't know what was happening with this bike. Well, actually I do, because we figured it out later. But at that point we were just like, okay, this is so crazy. So we go back and we're like, it happened again. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll fix it. And then as he's fixing it, we're watching the window outside, and suddenly it starts bucketing down with torrential rain, like so heavy rain, like I can't express how insanely heavy this rain was, but it was so heavy. And we're like, oh, you know, like, we hope, you know, like, hope this, you know, clears up by the time we're walking home, because we're walking home. Like, there's no point driving when we can just walk here in 10 minutes. So, you know, we better hope it clears up. Turns out it didn't clear up, and we had to walk home in the soaking wet rain, and it was all, yeah. It was, yeah, it was not pleasant, and we got absolutely soaked through. But while we were walking home, the thing didn't start its trumpeting again, and it didn't start its trumpeting again ever, actually, because, well, I don't know why, but so it was raining, so when we got home, I wasn't in the front yard, I tried to say front yard and front garden at the same time. I was in the front garden. And I was in the front yard, and so I wasn't playing in the front yard because it was bucketing down with rain, so I wasn't riding the bike, so it didn't get, like, punctured again. But my mom was sitting there thinking about it, because, like, you know, it was really strange, like, your bike's gotten, like, punctured 3 times in an hour, like, how? So eventually she figured it out. Basically, she'd been trimming her rose bushes, and all the thorns from the rose bushes had, like, obviously fallen to the ground, like, right where I was riding, and I had just kept riding over the thorns, and yeah, I just kept riding over the thorns, and that was what was puncturing the bike. So eventually we swept up the rose thorns, and it was fine, and the bike never got punctured again. It was just such a strange experience for us, especially, like, everyone was confused. The guy was confused, we were confused, like, how is this happening? And yeah, I don't know, it was just such a, I don't know, I thought it would be an interesting story to share. I actually haven't ridden a bike for ages, to be honest, like, absolute ages. Like, I don't know, it's been a while, like, oh, I don't think I've ridden one since COVID. I don't think I have, like, sorry, not since, I mean, sorry, COVID is still around, obviously, but I mean, since, like, the majority of the lockdowns, so probably since, like, 2020, I don't think I've ridden a bike. 2020 or 2021, I haven't ridden a bike. It's been a while. It's been a long while since I've ridden a bike, and I don't know, I think it's just because I don't know, I guess I just stopped riding a bike during lockdown because I grew out of my bike. Like, I needed a bigger one, but we just never got a bigger one, and then I just stopped riding it, and I just stopped wanting a new one. And that's interesting to think back on, like, why did you stop doing certain things that you did as a child? That's interesting. Now I'm actually really thinking deeply about this. That's really interesting. Like, why do you just stop doing certain things? Anyway, I think that's probably it for, like, the story part of this. Like, I don't really know what else I can say, but I don't know how long I've been filming for either. Which is annoying. I always forget to look at the time before I, you know, film. But I liked my time when I was riding around in my front yard with that bike. It was fun. I liked pretending I was doing cross country. Although, you know what else I did when I was doing cross country? One time, it was like a couple of years after the whole bike thing. Basically, we had a giant storm and in my backyard a bunch of branches came down off our trees. It was actually really scary because like that night we just heard like a bunch of things crashing down. But in the morning there was basically like branches like all over our backyard, and it was actually awful. But basically my mum swept them up into like piles so that, you know, she could like, you know, put them into like our green bin more easily. And basically while the piles were there, they were great cross-country jumps. They actually looked a lot like brush jumps. They were all just brush jumps probably. But they were small enough that I could just like jump over them on foot. And I remember I would just jump over them on foot and I'd pretend it was a cross-country course, and I would do the whole like cantering thing, and I'd get my strides right, and that was fun. And then I sprained my ankle while doing it. Although I've got very flexible ankles, so it takes a lot to hurt one of my ankles, because like my ankles are really flexible. I can like make my foot and my leg like at a right angle and it doesn't hurt. So it takes a lot to sprain my ankle, but I somehow sprained it doing those cross-country jumps. I guess I just landed wrong, and that really hurt, and I had to be in a bandage I didn't have to go on crutches, it wasn't that bad, but I did have to be in a bandage for a good couple of weeks. Now, since I'm thinking about being injured and with a bandage, I'm thinking about all my other childhood injuries that were stupid. You know, I've actually never been to the hospital for people. Sorry, I've never been to the hospital for me. I've only been to the hospital for other people, which is strange, but it's really interesting. But I'm just thinking of all these random childhood injuries that I have gotten. I should probably do a video on that, some random childhood injuries. I've actually got a scar from one of them involving secateurs and chopping branches. It actually must have happened pretty soon after that, actually, after the whole storm thing. It must have. But I've got a scar from that now on my thumb, and it's always really strange because people are like, like, what's that like thing on your thumb? Like, if they see it, like, it's not noticeable, but if like we're close together and I've got my hand on a table or something, like, like, what's that on your thumb? I'm like, oh, that's an interesting story. So I'm not going to tell you that now because I don't want to like extend this video too longer than it has to be, because it's going to be very long anyway. But if you like do want to hear that story about how I scarred my thumb and other childhood injuries stories, then please let me know in the comments, because I'd be more than happy to share that. I think story times are really fun. So yeah, I've actually got other story times. I've got lots of story times actually. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like. Wait, why am I doing this? Why am I doing the outro while I'm still doing a race? Whoopsie. Okay. You know what? It's actually fine. I can do the outro while I'm doing a race. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, as it really helps me out. And if you want more story times, definitely let me know in the comments, because I like pleasing you guys. So if you want more story times, I definitely have more to give you. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. There we go. I just wanted to get that arrow out of, yeah, okay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!